Lights on, game time, let's break it all down. From the spreads to the lines, who's up, who's down. We're crunching the numbers, calling the plays, talking all sports in a big time way.
Welcome back to Spreadsheets Sports. It is the Super Bowl. It is our final show for the NFL season. I am mixed emotions, a little sad. It's over. It's the final game. Excited to see the game that we're going to see. I think it's going to be a really good Super Bowl to be watched. It's going to be highly competitive. I don't foresee a blowout. I can sense one of the teams getting a lead or a decent lead, but maybe the opposing team will close the gap to not have that big a lead right at the very end. There's multiple ways that I've looked at this game, but I'm going to share all of that with you guys. I prepared a pretty decent show just to make sure that I can pass this information off to you and help you have a starting point for your own research. But before we dive into all of that, gotta send a special shout out to all of the followers, all of the watchers, all of the people that have shared this show, all the people that have liked this show. I hope I have provided value for you this season. And I hope it was a good ride. It was for me. I had a decent season NFL wise. I had some wins, I had some losses. You know what I mean? It was a roller coaster ride at times, but at the end, from a profitability perspective, I did pretty well. I'll share with you guys my record for the year, and then that way you can look at it and kind of validate whether or not I'm worth following or worth listening to. And it also helps me because when I'm making my bets for props and for the money lines and so forth, I want to make sure I'm monitoring myself because it helps guide me on what are the best bets to make. We all make a lot of bets, but I'm tracking every bet that I'm making and I'm watching it just to see how am I performing? Am I doing good on this, on rushing yards or rushing plus receiving or passing yards or passing touchdowns, receiving touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, field goals, team points, money lines, spreads, all of that. And I literally am watching that to see which ones are performing the best. And then that helps me narrow down which bets are best for me to take when I'm making my slips. It's that simple for me. I follow other people and I watch and see like what they're predicting, and I help add that into my own algorithm to create a baseline. And it helps with the probability formula with the other enhancements from AI as well. So it's been a really fun season and just kind of helping my spreadsheets evolve from year to year to year to year to year. I looked at my very first spreadsheet not too long ago. Oh man. Oh wow. It was child's play compared to what I got now. But it was the best I had back then. And it worked still. I was making money off of my little predictions off of that shit. But it worked. But it's been fun. But anyway, let's dive into the show. Here's the part where you're gonna hit the pause button and make you a drink. If you're day drinking, or if you're catching this at night, or if you are about to roll something up, then do that as well. We're about to get serious. We're about to dive into these numbers for the game, and we're about to see what we really got going on for the Super Bowl. So as I promised, we got the breakdown of my season, and I wanted to share with you guys just how I'm doing with the money lines, how I'm doing with picking the games. Like I said, it was a bumpy ride at times. I still ended up this season with 66%. So I was able to call 66% of the games on a whole. I had some really good weeks. Week 6 was great for me. I had 93% of the games I called were right. I had some lows. My worst performance was 53% in week 7. But the rest of it, no, I had a horrible low in week 14. That was a face plant. I had 36%. Oh my God, that was horrible. Came back though and got to 60 and above 60, got even as high as 75 and 67 to end the season out through wild card weekend. But that was my performance. The other performance that I have been watching, because like I said, I still follow covers and I follow DR for D rating. And Greek Gridiron was there for most of the season and then he retired his page. So I swapped that out for AI predictions, just as something to compare it to. And then the RT was Ross Tucker, right? So they did well also. I mean, you can see that at the very top of that grid. They did well, just as I did, and we were competing. But the end out was 66%. With that being said, that's higher than everybody else's. Everybody is at 65 as Ross Tucker the closest, and then the data itself, its own predictions without none of my consultation. It literally is doing it on its own based off of algorithms and math, and it's at 64% for just calling the games. So we're making progress. I think I ended the season last year with about 71. So to maintain somewhere around that now is pretty progressive. So we'll continue to make some modifications and really look how we can get better. Speaking of that, like you can see also that I have the player props and how I did with that. I have realized that rushing yards, rushing plus receiving, and passing yards are my sweet spots. That's where I perform the best. So you're going to see that on my tickets when I show you those. And I'm going to literally, really, really lean heavy on passing yards for the quarterbacks in different ways. And I'm also going to lean on rushing yards and rushing and receiving. I'm still going to make some receiving and some reception bets. I don't think I'm going to lean too heavy on any touchdowns based off of my performance here. So those are my sweet spots based off of the data. That's how I've been doing throughout the season. It's been good. It's been bad. It's been, a little bit of all that. But, you know, here we are and here we go. So let's jump into the game. And we're going to start out by looking at the injury report just so we can see who all is actually playing, who's not playing. See how that might make an impact on the game. And then once we get through that, then we're going to run right into the actual game under the microscope. Once we run under the microscope, then I also wanted to show you what it looks like on the marketplace. And then we will end with, I'll surprise you with what we're going to do at the end. But feel free to take screenshots throughout this. If you don't want to hear me run my mouth and you want to just use this as a starting for your research, knock yourself out. I'm not offended, but thank you guys for showing up at the channel. Let's run through this game and let's see if we can get some money. All right, for the injury report, coming in this game, the Pats have more injuries. I mean, they got 3 defensive tackles that are dealing with injuries. One got a hip injury, another one got a knee injury, and the other one has a hamstring. So, not a healthy D line. We'll talk about how the D line performs when we look at the numbers under the microscope, but that's going to be a problem coming in this game to have those type of problems on your D line, and you need a good defensive line against these Seahawks because Walker is a problem. He's a serious problem unaddressed. He will run it up. And then on top of that, for the pass rush aspect of it all, they can't really get back there to touch Darnold or how successful are they going to be with touching Darnold? We're having problems with your defensive tackles. That's something to think about. Something else on the injury to look at is going to be Harold Landry tomorrow, and that literally might be interesting because he's got a knee problem as well, and he's one of their linebackers. Not sure if his contribution is a game changer or a game breaker. I don't know, but either way, having a linebacker questionable and 3 defensive tackles that are like having some challenges and not even really questionable, they like IR. They're not playing. So they're putting together whatever they got left. So with that said, that's going to be something to watch. On the other side of it, you got the Seahawks only have like 2 people that are really a problem, and that's going to be Charbonnet. That's going to hurt a little bit. Really, it's going to hurt a lot. So that rotation was nice that they had between Walker and Charbonnet, and Charbonnet was that guy throughout the season. My homeboy Joe used to always hit me and be like, "Yo, Charbonnet today." And when we did Charbonnet, we would hit. So he was consistent. Um, this other guy, this fullback, I'm not really worried about him, but he's questionable. Um, so they don't. I mean, they don't really have that many injuries on the Seahawks side. That's going to be like game changer. They kind of are who they are on paper because they're not impacted negatively by the injuries, but you're going to have to make some mental adjustments and some adjustments to your algorithm or production based off of the injuries that the Patriots have. So let's jump into the next slide and look at the actual game and see what we got. All right, this is the game under the microscope. Here's where things get interesting, okay? So when we're looking at this game under the microscope, we have to consider several things, right? Um, I'm gonna share with you how I break a game down, and you may have a different way, and that works for you, and that's great. There's just certain things that I like to look at in a game for myself to feel like I have a true comparison. Um, Defense, but not just the defense. How does the defense possibly perform against the other offense? Who wins the battle at the line is important to me. On both sides. Who has a more balanced production on offense? Who has a better defensive fortitude in the red zone? Who has better kicking points? And what's the average or frequency of how much they kick? And in addition to that, the success ratio or the kick ratio for that kicker. Because those are points. And the smart coaches, which we have 2 smart coaches in this game, will take the points when they need to. So you want to consider that as well. Another one for me is really the data and how it tells me whether or not this can be a median score game or a possible high score game. As it stands right now for this game, it's kind of deadlocked at 23 points for both teams. That's what the data says. The data has this thing tied. It does not know who is going to win this game. And this is where we come in, because literally now we have to interpret what we are looking at, and we have to figure out and decipher the hidden breadcrumbs that are staring us in our face. How are these 2 teams to each other? Seattle Seahawks are, according to data, a number 2 team. According to the data, it has the New England Patriots as the number 1 team right now in the NFL. It's crazy that we're watching a Super Bowl where we like legitimately or possibly legitimately have the number 1 and number 2 teams of the NFL. Sometimes it's not a good matchup, and you see it all in the game because it's just not competitive. This is not that game. These 2 teams deserve to be here, and they are going to give us everything we are looking for. There's going to be production. There's going to be competitiveness. It's going to be toughness. It's going to be violent, probably a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of some scuffles. We might see a fight. we might see a fight. Because it is a Super Bowl. Like, this is not no, oh, yeah, I see you next week, bro. Like, this is, I mean, it's been win or go home for the last several weeks for everybody in the playoffs. But this is we made it. And I'll be damned if you're going to stop me from closing this deal type action out there tomorrow or the day of whenever you're watching this. Man, this is going to be amazing. Who is the battle at the line for both of these teams? We got the Seahawks losing the battle at the line. They're number 12 offensive line. You got the Patriots losing the battle at the line, and they have a number 11 offensive line. Then you got the Seahawks defensive line is nice. They do win the battle against the Patriots, obviously. They got a number 2 defensive line. Remember, they don't have that many injuries. Then we got a number 16 defensive line for the Patriots, and they don't win the battle at the defensive line. So, with that being said, the Patriots not winning the defensive battle, and on top of that, they got defensive line injuries. Be cautious. Be cautious. That's a flag right there that's going to tell you that Kenneth Walker potentially can have a great day. There's going to be room between the guards. There will be room between the guards, and there'll be room outside of the guards. Run a 3-4 under. So that 3-4 under that they run, that front scheme, I kind of like it with against Walker, but it can get dicey. You know what I mean? Like, they can do second level with Walker on you on rushing plus receiving. Like, if you can't get it between the guards or outside the guards, and they'll dump off to him for a screen. So you got to consider that as well. And on top of that, the Patriots already are allowing over 100 yards. They're 102 yards in rushing yards, right? That means that you can pretty much say Walker's going to get somewhere between 70 to 80 being greedy, if you ask me. But I think 70 is probably where Kenneth Walker lands. I would take Kenneth Walker for 70 rushing plus receiving yards, but I don't know if I wanted to just do rushing. To be determined. On the other side, Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson. Can they get it done? I think they can. Ramondre has been looking pretty good. Travion took a back seat, but at the same time, he's still been a utility player and still coming in and giving production, if you've been watching them. Ramondre does a lot of rushing plus receiving and not just rushing. And he's good either way. Travion is more of a rushing plus receiving back if you were to take him. Drake May also contributes to the rushing yards as well. And he literally will give you, I mean, I'm comfortable with a Drake May rushing 20 yards. The line is something different. The line is saying 36, and I think the 36 is for a straight up Drake May fan, which I'm kind of borderline because he has cashed for me this entire season. Like, it's been like maybe 2 times I haven't hit a bet on Drake May the entire season. When I would bet this guy for 225, he'll get 250 in passing yards. When I would bet him for 250, he'll get 260, 270. When I would bet him for 270, he gets 302. Like, this guy did not miss the entire season for me. And sprinkle on some rushing yards? Oh my God. I can't see how that doesn't happen because literally The Seahawks are going to blitz like anywhere from 7 to 9 times in the game, right? That's almost about 2 times a quarter. But with that being said, they're pretty good at putting their hands on the quarterback. Like they put their hands on the quarterback 37% of the time that they do blitz, which means that they're going to definitely put their hands on Drake May. And when they do, that's going to either do two things. It's going to make him shut down, and he'll start just taking a lot more blitz in the pocket as it collapses. Because remember, they don't win the battle of the offensive line. So the pocket's going to collapse, and he's either going to continue to take sacks or he's going to start moving and trying to extend the play. He has a tendency to try to get things done on his feet, but he's very calculated if you've been watching him the entire season. So take that into consideration as well. That's where I'm at with the ground attack. In the air, man, this thing is like bombs over Baghdad for both teams, man. They literally are like equipped to do damage. On the Seahawks side, you got Cooper Kupp, Rashid Shaheed. You can still put Kenneth Walker on the receiving side of it because he also does catch the ball. That's not even the whole host of the team. Then you got Jackson Smith, Enigma, Phenom, and he just got an award. This guy, he's had an amazing season. Next to Puka, he's up there with Puka Nacua. He had a great season, and like he's another weapon that even if you try, like he has so many ways to come at you and get production. Cooper Kupp underneath, out patterns. Rashid Shaheed, kind of the same thing. First down from Rashid Shaheed or something like that. Kenneth Walker in the flats, or he sneaks right behind the linebacker and dump off. And then there's AJ Barner. Big AJ Barner. Man. AJ Barner has been amazing for me as well this season. I got to tell you, after week 3, he became somebody that has been near and dear to my heart. Very consistent. And he hasn't been utilized, I think, on purpose the last 2 games as he normally has. He's gotten production, but not as much as he usually does. And I think for that reason, they're going to break him out tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching this. And he's going to have a 40 to 50-yard day in the Super Bowl. Because when he catches the ball, he still tries to end up going to get more yards. And he holds on to the ball. He doesn't fumble a lot. He's a great target to hit, and he's big. He's going to be a big part of the offense. I got to believe. Only because on the other side of the ball, you got the Patriots rushing. Their pass rush is anywhere from 8 to 11 times a game. They only touch the quarterback 25% of the time, but remember, they do have a problem with the defensive linemen, so that's going to have to be a coordinated blitz with the linebackers involved. And do you sell out with Sam Darnold with those type of weapons? You got to take the risk and try at least, and you better be successful a couple times and put your hands on him, though. Like, you can't get back there and not touch him and let him do a completion. You're going to have to touch Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold ain't going to run even if you do, so that's the good thing is that he'll just continue to take the sacks and try to figure it out. Maybe dump it off a little bit faster. But that's who Sam Darnold is, according to data. Okay? He will run once in a blue moon. This is Super Bowl. Who knows? Maybe he runs for 15 yards, and that's all, but I just don't see him running a lot, and I'm not willing to bet on Sam Darnold with a run bet for that. Discipline from both of the teams. The Seahawks are at 13 penalties a game. They're like number 9 in the league when it comes to penalties, so they're pretty disciplined. On the other side of it, the Patriots are pretty disciplined as well. They're number 8 in the league with penalties. They only get 12 a game. So you got that. Who's more disciplined with holding on to the ball? The Seahawks fumble at least 1.6 times a game. That's not good. They were worse in the league. That's an edge for the Patriots defense. If they can make something happen, they do turn the ball over for the Seahawks. On the other side of it, the Patriots fumble almost once a game. Fumbled, interception, whatever the case may be. But they are turning the ball over at least once a game, but not over once a game. So I'm leaning towards at least a lesser probability that we'll see an interception. Maybe it can happen because the Seahawks defense is good. They got some nice corners. So do the Patriots, though. So do the Patriots. Oh, both teams got the same amount of yards for how many yards they allow in the air, like literally. Defensive fortitude. The Seahawks only allow 50% of the chances in the red zone for a score, and the Patriots allow 63%. So if and when the Seahawks get in the red zone, they got a 63% chance of scoring, just based off of the data. So the question is can the Patriots tighten down the hatches in the game if they get in a red zone situation, which they're going to be in, I would say at least. And I think the Seahawks are going to get in the red zone at least five. At least six. And of those 6 red zone attempts, they either going to take 2 field goals and 3 touchdowns, something like that. That's what those things are going to turn into. Or maybe it's 3 field goals and 2 touchdowns. It might be that type of action for the Seahawks, just off of the numbers. On the other side of it, it's a coin toss whenever the Patriots get into the red zone. They're going to either have to take the field goal or they're going to have to try to run it. Drake May might run it in. He might do a quarterback sneak. It might dump off to Ramondre Stevenson, or he might come between the guards. He still has Hunter Henry. Like, I didn't even go through the air attack on the Patriots side. They got Stephon Diggs. They got Kayshawn Boutte. They got Mac Hollins. They got Hunter Henry. Drake May will terrorize you. He will terrorize you. I told you he don't miss. I told you who Drake May was, but this is why Drake May is great. He has targets, and they're really, really good. Hunter Henry, man, I look for him to have a great game. Great game. I'm looking for 40 yards out of Hunter Henry. He's going to get several first downs. You could probably take him for first downs. Like maybe if they got a bet for over 4.5 first downs, I would take him for that. And I would take him for 40. Kayshawn Boutte, I like for 30 yards. I like that 31 for the line that the market has. I like Stephon Diggs for the 45. I actually love that bet because he's going to kind of be under the radar, and the Seahawks are going to have to try to figure out how to spread themselves out. They're gonna cause themselves some pain if they start playing too much zone, and the Seahawks do play zone. They run a 4-3, so they should be able. The front four should be able to battle a little bit. Being that the Seahawks defensive line does win the battle at the offensive line for the Patriots. So with that being said, running a 4-3 and possibly doing zone and using the 3 linebackers along with the zone, it may help them sometimes, but even Hunter Henry can grab it underneath the coverage. So can Ramondre Stevenson on a flat play. Something from the slot. Mac Hollins right behind the linebackers in the zone. And then if you after you tired of getting beat up by the zone, right, from Drake May, then he'll turn around and he'll do something with getting you try to call his bluff and you're like, all right, we're going to do man. And then now you got yourself in a real problem with Drake May because he does really great with his timing with his receivers. When they start playing assignment football and he's not looking for who's open, it's just I'm throwing it to you, be at this spot, and they're going to be there. The ball will be there, and they meet together and they catch the ball, and then there's more yards. Oh God, it's off to the races. It's off to the races. Stephon Diggs does that, and he will smoke you. and he will end up in the end zone back shoulder. Drake May is a technician. Um, that's what I got for this game. That's the props. That's what I'm looking at for the matchup for your coaching staff. You got Mac McDonald, Clint Kubiak, Aiden Dirty on the Seahawks side, and on the Patriots side, you got Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, and Terrell Williams. Shout out to Terrell Williams. ECU. ECU stand up. Terrell Williams was playing at ECU defensive line when I started playing at ECU. One of my teammates, and he's now a defensive coordinator in the Super Bowl. Wow, that's big. So I hope they win. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win based off of the data here on this next slide. But again, shout out to Terrell, and I wish you guys luck for the Super Bowl. But man, it's gonna be a good game, man. It's gonna be like so electric. All right, dealing with the kicking props. That's a hidden gem that I found through the season. Shout out to Joe for that one. He added that to the portfolio, and we have been doing pretty good with it. This game being a game where I gotta imagine both coaches are gonna take some risk and go for it. And then I think sometimes they're going to play conservative and take the points. That leaves us with the two kickers that we're dealing with, Jason Myers and Andy Borregales. I hope I said his name correctly. Forgive me if I butchered it. But Jason and Andy both are decent kickers. They do pretty well. They are both 80 plus percentage, on their field goals being made. Like, how do you argue with that? Like, if you put them in a position to kick and they're inside of a dome, like there's no weather related issues, no wind, none of that type of stuff. Like, you can get it between the goalposts. The real question leads you back to how will the game possibly go? Will there be enough attempts in the red zone from either team that would put them in a scenario where they have to think about a field goal? And I would say, and I would argue that the answer is yes. I like more so. Let me see the bet that I have already in. I'll tell you what I ended up betting on one of them. Went with over 1.5 field goals for Andy Borregales. Okay. We're going that way for the ticket. On any ticket that you do, if you're going to make more than one or if you're making just one, I would say that's a pretty good bet for you to add onto your slip. You're going to get it for a good price. Another one to consider would be over 6.5 kicking points for Jason Myers. That's really all I see from the kicking aspect of this game, just because I know that it's going to happen. I don't really see any value in taking over 2.5 field goals for the entire game. They're not paying enough. They're trying to make you do over 3.5. But over 3.5 is slightly risky for me, but I could see both teams doing 2 field goals. That's your 4 field goals. That could happen. It could be New England could get a field goal in the first quarter and do another field goal to win the game or to lose the game in the fourth quarter. That's their 2 field goals. In the same scenario for the Seattle Seahawks. Maybe another field goal right before the end of the second half. The end of the second quarter, going into the half, just to put some more points on the board. That's another field goal right there. Like, you could take the over 3.5, but I would be sweating a little bit if I took the over 3.5, but it's doable. But Based off of the data, those are the three things that I would consider, and probably in that order. Um, that's really all I got on the kicking points. I want to dive into looking at the overview of the market and get you guys out of here. So let's see what we got. All right, let's give you a quick overview of the game and look at what the market looks like. This is probably what you've been waiting on for a minute. I've been running my mouth talking about props and all of the other stuff, and you were curious about what's going to happen with the entire game. Who's going to win? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? I have tried to pull this game apart in so many different ways. I thought about 5 different ways that this game goes. Okay. I was doing some meditation, and on my trip through the universe, I literally came across 5 scripts. And those scripts were this. Option 1, the Seahawks win, tight game, low scoring. And I'm talking about like 1917, 21-23. Like that type of score for the Seahawks to win. Option 2 is Seahawks win, and they win by 10 to 14 points or more. Then there's option 3. Patriots play and they keep it tight, and their defense finds a way to keep it reasonable on the score, and Drake May can figure out a way to keep production going and extend the play, running away from the blitz, and can turn that into 6 points, or maybe just get them in the red zone and take the field goals, and they win that way, and it's ugly. I don't see the Patriots getting an interception. Maybe a fumble if there's a turnover that the Patriots can get. I mean, you know what? There's a 50% chance that they can get an interception because the Patriots secondary is nice. So I'll give them that. That's a turnover on downs, possession reverse, another chance to go back down and get in the red zone. This is that version of the Patriots winning, right? Then there's the Patriots win by 10 to 14, but not because they like are great, but because they just had a great game. Then there's the 5th game. The 5th game is the game where everybody is hitting on all cylinders for both teams, and it is a shootout. The shootout of shootouts is that 41 to 37. Something crazy like that. There's the possibility of that game. I would say that it's least probable, only because the data is stuck at 23 points for both teams. The data itself has the game at 20 to 21 without considering the other people that I'm following and the other people that I'm putting their consideration in for. Because Ross Tucker is more so like he's thinking 24-21, give or take. He's saying it's a low scoring under 45 for the game. I'm saying 24-27 Patriots. That's what I'm saying. I'm not giving you my real prediction yet. I'm just telling you how the numbers work for what you're looking at, right? Then the other part of the baseline is that covers.com, they're saying that it's a 55% chance that the Seahawks win. D ratings is going with the Seahawks at 67%. So even with the covers, DR, and Ross Tucker all favoring the Seahawks to win with the math, The Patriots still have a chance to keep this tight. And this is where we say this is why the game is played. Who's going to win? With injuries involved and with just the whole May, I became a fan. In Drake May we trust. I'm going with the Pats to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm going with the Pats to win. That's my official pick. I'm going with the Pats to win the Super Bowl. Yes, the Seahawks are great. Yes, they were a hidden gem the entire season. Yes, they had played a tougher schedule than the Patriots did. But we here now. I don't want to hear nothing about the schedule after the Patriots win the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear nothing about any of that. They're gonna have the ring and we'll deal with next season. But I don't want to hear nothing about that ever again after they win the Super Bowl. I am tired of hearing people talking about Drake May and oh well we'll see and let's watch and maybe oh they had a weak schedule, blah 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 blah. In Drake May we trust. Brady 2.0. You don't want to hear you probably don't even want to hear me say that. But I said it. I said it. Brady 2.0 uploading. Vrabel doing really great with the coaching. Patriots really good run game. Patriots really good pass game. Good enough defense. Got some injuries, but they're gonna make some adjustments. Terrell's gonna get those guys together, and he's gonna do his supreme coaching that he does, and he's gonna get this done. Go Patriots. And I'm not even a Patriots fan. I got my Chiefs on. Like, I'm a Chiefs fan. We not in this, but I'm a football fan. I'm a football phenom. So, like, just from the mere part of the game that we're gonna watch and we're all gonna witness, go Patriots. It's a caveat that they're giving me the money line, right? They're giving me plus cheese for it. And if you don't want to really jump off the porch with that, take the Patriots for plus 5.5. The line is 4.5, but bump it up to 5.5 and pay a little juice for plus 5.5, and then add in 2 or 3 of the props that you like from what I talked about or whatever your research is. Data says I should go with the Seahawks to win. I know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at right the same thing as you. The data changed the colors to green and yellow. It says that the Seahawks win this game. That's what the data says. And I could be wrong. I'm capable of being wrong. But on this one, I think I'm right. And I think we're going to cash. At least I hope we do. That's what the overview of the market looks like. And that's what your spreads are. Man, going to be great. And that brings us to the end of the show. It's sad, but it's not. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just ending the NFL part of the show. I'm going to be around for college basketball. I'm going to be around for MLB, which is coming up in a couple of months. So tune back into the channel, Spreadsheet Sports. Follow me for the other sports. Those are the ones that I really like. I really don't really touch a lot of the other stuff. I'm not going to do some Olympic betting. I'm not going to do anything with that. I have to have data to really look at to go off of for me to really feel good about what I'm possibly going to take a bet on. You know what I mean? So I'm not really doing spontaneous stuff because that psychologically leans more towards gambling for me. And I don't like to look at it as gambling. I'm just basically choosing something with the possible highest probability based off of a lot of different formulas and algorithmic capabilities. So anyway, I wish all of you guys the best on your journey to make some money and crack the books open. I hope all of your parlays hit. I know it's not possible, but we all can dream. I'm hoping mine hit as well. I'm going to be putting in some work here. and putting together some more stuff. I'm gonna do another show I'll drop for you guys tomorrow around noon, so that you can see the actual tickets that I'll make, and that way you can actually try to copy those as well if you like. You can follow me on X. I also have my bets posted on X, posted on Facebook too, but I don't really like the marketing part for Facebook, but I do like the marketing for X, and it's pretty good. So I'll be on both of those platforms as well. You come here to YouTube, you can find me for the other show as well. Have your notification button on. But I would be remiss if I did not say thank you guys again for coming to the show. Thank you guys for continuing to come to the show. And thank you for the likes, the follows, the shares, the views, all of it. Happy hunting tomorrow, and I will check in with you guys later.
From the spreads to the lines, who's up, who's down? We're crunching the numbers, calling the plays, talking all sports in a big time way. Yeah, yeah.